There is a general saying out there that says film is 50% visual and sound. It's primarily what we see and hear that drive the story, rather than what narratively happens. But I disagree with film being just half of each, because everything has its own identity, meaning some depend more on visuals than they do on sound. Or in Your Name's case, I think it's 80% sound and 20% visual. I'm not saying the movie doesn't look good though, because it's gorgeous. And with Masashi Ando's animation direction, this is Shinkai's best animated film. But when it comes to visual narration, that's not where this film stands out, because all the framing, editing, and movement follows the influence of sound. The station alarms, the people, the Yamanote line, the Chosobu line, and the pacing of each given voiceover.
誰かを探している。
そういう気持ちに取りつかれたのは多分あの日から。
あの日、星が降った日。
However, the tone of the scene shifts from its sleepy pace as Radwimps' first song begins to play, cutting into more nostalgic shots and segueing into the opening credits, which works very much like a music video.
ああこのまま僕たちの声が世界の端っこまで消えることなく
What's interesting about this sequence is that it pretty much sums up the entire film, with random shots of Tokyo in time lapses and sweeping zooms. Story-wise, this scene plays as nothing but a bit of a spoiler. But it's hard to imagine the film without it, since its visual design fits so well with Radwimps' Yumetourou, as almost every dramatic reveal is enforced by the soundtrack's movements.
なんだこれ。なんだこれ。
This can be more clearly felt as the film gets closer to its halfway point, where Taki and Mitsuha begin to realize they're changing places. It plays with the score's most upbeat track, alluding to the lunacy of the two characters' experiences, and the track itself consists of occasional loops signaling the sense of time being moved back and forward, as the audience is forced to follow the film's non-linear narrative. What's important to note about this scene is that rather than its significance to the story, the entire scene is essentially one whole build-up to Here, Taki and Mitsuha's dilemma is summarized into a 3-minute montage that's paced to Zenzenzense. This is the most we get of the film's advertised body swapping, and half of the scene is given to more time lapses of Tokyo and Itomori. It's all really just basic structuring, like how the loudest piece of dialogue sets off the song's chorus, intercutting two parallel moments, or how the time lapses play in the song's lighter verses to keep the visual momentum smooth. When the song has to come to an end, everything halts abruptly, with the scene cutting to black, so the film can move to its next phase. As a matter of fact, each phase of the film acts as a build-up to each of the 4 songs in the film's score, with the next one being the climax of the film and my favorite. At this point of the film, we've learned everything we need to know to understand what's happening. All that's left is to see how the conflict will be resolved. But before that, we're given the most anticipated scene of the film, Taki and Mitsuha finally meeting each other. And playing with this scene is a piano rendition of the first song, Yumetourou. At first, it sits in the background, letting Taki and Mitsuha's encounter take center stage. However, soon enough, the track grows to control the scene, the camera ascending as the music gets louder, to show us the catalyst of the entire story. With the crescendo, the audience prepares itself for the climax to start. This is the most devastating scene in the film. By emphasizing silence, both the characters and the audience are left a bit stunned, giving the Dirt Act and the Dirt Song an opportunity to seep in.
お前は誰だ?
Another important note here is that this track, Sparkle's original piano intro, is shorter than the film's version, meaning sometimes the song has to be altered to create a better balance and pace. With the extended piano intro, we're given more time for Taki to struggle and remember Mitsuha, while also allowing the camera to pan around him to make the shot more dramatic. And when the lyrics come in, a sweeping motion parallels it. This is one thing that's done really well in the film, how the status quo constantly changes along with the song's shifts in tone. Of course, this is something a lot of films and shows do, and everything done in Your Name isn't new or experimental in any regard. Rather, it's extremely standard. Some films arguably even do it better and more subtly. But we're in a time where moments like these are becoming more and more rare. And what makes Your Name noteworthy is how it shows almost complete dependency on sound can be more than enough to create a poignant film. In many ways, Your Name isn't too far away from being a musical. Or rather, it's one whole music video as a feature-length film, like a visual album.
でその曲を聴いて、今度は逆にスクリプトも少し直しましたし、この音楽を使うための演出、映像のようなものを考えていったりしました。その繰り返しです。
Where the characters and story lack depth, the music comes in and sells the emotion.
目が覚めても忘れないようにさ。名前書いとこうぜ。
All the visual department has to really do is to fit in with the songs as much as they can. Every pace and beat in the music harmonized by a switch in scenery or camera movement. In the end, I think Your Name's success comes from the amazing songs by Radwimps. Because obviously, if you're going to depend on the music, it's gonna have to be great music. And the reason why their songs work so well in the film is because they sound nostalgic. Longing for a past that's spinning away, with a guitar that echoes in the canyons of Tokyo as time passes. Vocals coming in to offer lyrics that connect the two now parted main characters, leading different lives in sync. And as the crescendo continues, their paths connect, so the music gives us what we want.